story of Battlefield Bad Company takes place during a fictional war between the United States and Russia in a region near the Caspian Sea, mainly in the fictional country of Serdaristan. The campaign follows a small squad from B Company of the 222nd Army Battalion. B Company is better known for its nickname, Bad Company, a unit made out of troublemakers, insubordinate soldiers and misfits who do not fit into the normal military units. Because of this reputation, the army often sends them on the most dangerous frontline missions, treating them as expendable soldiers. The protagonist of the story is Preston Marlowe, a private who has been recently transferred into the company after causing trouble elsewhere in the military. When he arrives, he meets the three men who will form the squad for the entire campaign. The squad leader is Sergeant Samuel D. Redford, usually called Sarge. Redford is a veteran soldier who has chosen to serve in the Bad Company because doing so shortened his remaining time in the army. He only has a few days left before he can retire, which makes him eager to complete missions quickly and survive the war. The other members are Terence Sweetwater, a talkative and intelligent communications specialist who tends to panic in stressful situations, and George Gordon Haggard Jr., the squad's demolitions expert who loves explosions and often acts recklessly. Together, these four soldiers form a dysfunctional but effective team. After one firefight, the squad examines the body of one of the mercenaries and discovers something strange. The soldier is carrying a gold bar. Sweetwater remembers hearing rumors that the mercenaries fighting alongside the Russians are paid in gold instead of money. This discovery immediately catches the squad's attention. Haggard becomes particularly excited by the idea that there might be a large stash of gold somewhere nearby. While scouting the area, the squad soon discovers trucks loaded with gold bars being transported by the legionaries. The trucks cross the border to Sardistan, a neutral country that is not officially part of the war. Redford orders the squad to pull back, because entering a neutral country without orders could cause serious political consequences. However, Haggard ignores the order and chases the trucks, hoping to find where the gold is being stored. The rest of the squad reluctantly follows him in order to keep him from getting killed. Because of Haggard's impulsive decisions, Bad Company accidentally invaded Serdaristan. Their mission coordinator, a military operator known as Mike 1 Juliet, informs Redford that he will likely face a court-martial for crossing the border and disobeying orders. To make matters worse, Redford's retirement is now delayed because of the incident. Despite the trouble they are in, the squad continues pursuing the gold trucks. The squad eventually travels to Sardis, a massive city under construction somewhere near the Caspian Sea. Here they encounter the same ship and vehicles used by the mercenaries to transport gold, fighting their way through the city, to the city's unfinished buildings and construction zones. They realize that the US Army is also moving into the region. This creates a new problem. If the American forces arrive first, they will confiscate the gold bars before Bad Company can reach it. At this point, the squad's priorities begin to change. Originally, they were simply curious about the gold, but now they start seriously considering stealing it. They even make a deal with Mike 1 Juliet, promising to give her a share of the gold if she continues to provide them with intelligence and mission support. To keep the American forces from reaching the treasure first, the squad sabotages parts of the US military advance by destroying key bridges. This slows the army's movement long enough for them to reach the warehouse, where they believe that contains the gold. When they finally arrive, they discover a garage filled with gold bars stacked in crates. Just as the squad begins celebrating their discovery, the Legionary returns in his Ka-52 attack helicopter and launches another assault at them. During the battle, Marlowe manages to shoot down the helicopter, seemingly killing the mercenary leader. With the immediate threat gone, the squad returns to the gold warehouse. However, when they arrive, they discover that they are too late. The US Army has already reached the area and is loading the gold into supply trucks. The squad watches in frustration as soldiers begin transporting the treasure away. The dream of becoming rich seemed to have disappeared. While they are standing near the convoy, an American officer notices them and asks them what unit they belong to. Thinking quickly, Marlowe and Redford claim that they are part of the transport team assigned to guard the gold. The officer believes them and orders them to take one of the trucks and join the convoy carrying the treasure. As the squad drives away, they begin talking excitedly about what they will do with their new wealth. They imagine buying houses, living in luxury and leaving the war behind forever. For a brief moment, their wild adventure seems to have paid off. But the story ends with a final twist. As the squad celebrates their victory, the camera cuts to the crash site of the Legionnaires' helicopter. From the burning wreckage, the mercenary leader slowly climbs out alive. Despite being shot down, he has survived the crash, hinting that the conflict is not over yet. And even though Battlefield Bad Company is loved by many players, the game also had several weaknesses and problems. Critics and players pointed out issues with the AI, graphics, pacing, and some gameplay mechanics. These problems did not ruin the game, but they prevented it from being perfect. One of the most common criticisms was the enemy artificial intelligence. Many reviewers felt that the enemy soldiers behaved in unrealistic ways. Sometimes enemies would detect the player from very far away, or react with unnatural accuracy. In other cases, they would stand in strange positions or repeat the same attack patterns. Critics described the AI as somewhat inflexible and unpredictable, which could make some firefights feel less realistic and challenging. Another big problem of the game was the opening pace. The beginning of the campaign was considered slow compared to later missions. Some players felt that the early parts of the story did not immediately show the game's best features. Once the campaign progresses and the destruction vehicle battles become more intense, the experience improves, but the slower start sometimes gave players a weak first impression. Another complaint involved the checkpoint system in the campaign. Some players found that the checkpoints were spaced way too far apart. If players died during a difficult battle, they might have to repeat a large portion of the mission. This could become frustrating during long firefights or vehicle battles. And many people also said that the single player campaign was too short. The story usually takes about 8 hours to complete. For players who are mostly interested in the campaign, the experience could feel brief once the story ended. Some players expected a longer narrative with some missions or deeper story development. And the multiplayer, although very fun, also had a few issues. Because the game focuses on a smaller number of modes and maps compared with later Battlefield titles, some players eventually felt that there was limited variety. In addition, team balance could sometimes become a problem if too many players choose the same class, such as snipers, which made attacking objectives much harder. Then there was also controversies before release regarding weapon unlocks. At one point, players believed that certain weapons might be available only through special promotions, pre-orders, or extra payments. Some players worried this could create an unfair advantage for those who obtained those weapons. The developers later changed how these weapons were unlocked, but the discussion caused criticism long before launch. And that basically sums up the whole game. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope of course I see you in my next video. Bye!